Welcome to Talk of the Town, presented by Tree City Sports, your source for local sports. I am your host, CJ McClure. Thank you guys so much for joining us again today. We've got an exciting episode ahead, a lot of Big 12 talk, a lot of great things coming your way. As always, we're rocking the shirt made by AM Creations in Ottawa, Kansas. Go check them out for all of your custom shirt, hat, cup, whatever you would like needs, because they do great work. And as is my morning tradition, I stopped by Arrowhead Nutrition and got my morning drink. This one is the Black Magic. Again, everything that I've had from there has been incredible. Do not forget to stop by there, tell them we sent you, tell them you heard it on Tree City Sports. You want to make it a part of your morning routine the way that it is mine. I want to give a shout out to our friend Royal's mom, Rita, at RJN Photography. Go check them out on their Facebook page and book them for all of your photography needs. And my buddy Drew at D&N Detailing. It's the time of the year to get your classic cars out, take them to shows, show them off, and be proud of what you have. When you want to get it cleaned up, detailed, nice, and show ready, hit up my buddy Drew at D&N Detailing. Now that we got through that, on to some Big 12 news, because it's just exciting. The possibilities for the Big 12 in the future are crazy, like crazy to think about, because the Big 12 is in talks with Washington State and Oregon State to get them to join the conference. And it would take away if they were to leave right now, but if they leave after 2026 or after next year, I believe, then they would be able to. And if the Big 12 was able to negotiate a way to not only take Oregon State and Washington State, but to get some of the money from the Pac-12, what's left of it, and if they could negotiate a way to get some of that money, man, they could use that to help lure in the other teams that they want. Clemson and Florida State, Miami, all of these teams. I mean, the possibilities here are crazy, honestly. There's a lot that they could end up doing in the future, and it's a lot of fun to think about. There have been some talks that the Florida State has been trying as hard as it can to become an AAU school so that it can join the Big Ten. And the Big Ten said, if either you or Clemson become AAU schools, we will accept you. We'll take you in. And Florida State really wants that to happen. I think that Florida State really doesn't want to be in the Big 12, but Clemson does. I think Clemson really does want to be in the Big 12, and I think it would be a lot of fun to have them. And I honestly believe that Clemson has no chance of being an AAU school, so they would be excluded from that. And the SEC doesn't want another school from South Carolina to be in the conference. Who knows what could really happen, but the Big 12 is doing everything it can to solidify itself as a power conference, and not just now, in the future. Brett Yormark, as I've said before, and as he himself has said several times, he does not want to be on par with the Big Ten and the SEC. He wants to surpass the Big Ten and the SEC. He wants the Big 12 to be the best conference in the entire nation. And honestly, it's not that crazy to think about. The Big 12 has a lot of potential here. And to solidify themselves as a power conference for the future ahead, they are looking at a possibility of going ahead and expanding to 24 teams. That would be awesome for the conference because they would not just add the lowest teams they could possibly add. We're not going to add Pitt and a couple other. SMU has no chance. But the Big 12 has a possibility to land the best teams in the ACC, as well as adding Oregon State and Washington State. The possibilities here are great. Even if Florida State somehow makes it into the Big Ten. If they make it into the Big Ten, cool, great for them. We're not that worried about it because of the other teams that will come to the Big 12. Because we'll end up with we know we'll end up with Clemson. We know that's happening. We know it's coming. It'll take time. And just because the deadline of August 15th is right around the corner for ACC schools to announce that they're leaving to go to another conference, just because that's right around the corner, it's in a couple weeks, it doesn't mean that the Big 12 will not still continue these talks with these schools. They absolutely will continue the talks with these schools, and they're going to figure something out. Again, it will take a lot of time. We have to see how these lawsuits settle in the ACC and what comes of that. But I honestly believe that the Big 12 is going to end up being stronger because of the ACC schools that it adds to the conference. And when you look at the ACC schools that we could add here, the possibilities, man, they're great here for the Big 12 because the SEC has said several times that it does not want to expand right now. It has no intentions of expanding. They're fine where they're at. So if the Big 12 takes the momentum that they have and they end up expanding to a 24-team conference, if we can add Washington State and Oregon State, I don't see a problem with that because that will help us expand to both coasts as we add Clemson, Miami, Virginia Tech. I think that we could add Virginia Tech as well. I believe that they belong in a power conference, and the Big 12 would welcome Virginia Tech in. I don't know. There's a lot of options here. The Big 12 honestly has so many great options to expand from the ACC that you don't know who's really going to get in. And it's going to be a tough decision. But when you add 6 teams, even if you don't get Florida State, you add great teams because you're probably going to add Virginia or Virginia Tech, maybe both, Clemson, Miami. You're going to add great teams. Louisville. Who knows who you end up adding? Maybe you add Georgia Tech. Who knows? I'll tell you, though, that I do not believe that Pitt will make it in. Pitt will absolutely not be a Big 12 member, and I see them falling out of a power conference. I don't think that they will survive into the now Power 3 structure after all this is said and done. And it's not just Pitt. SMU, I don't know what's wrong with them because their fans are kind of funny. They're talking a lot of smack, like they realize that maybe after all this is done, they're going to be the best team left in the ACC. And so they're going to be dominant. No, you're not. Even if the ACC survives, SMU is not going to be a powerhouse team, no matter what. Even if they add schools from the American Conference or wherever they come from, even if they were to be a great team in the ACC will no longer be a power conference. So it's like you're talking about smacking up on teams that don't deserve it. Like, be nice. And SMU doesn't deserve it. They don't deserve to be in a power conference. Their fans are pretty much trash. I mean, they're Texas people, so they're very proud of their football. I'll give them that. They love their football. But SMU does not deserve to be in a power conference in the future. They belong if the ACC does somehow survive, then they may become the best team in the ACC. But the ACC will no longer be a power conference, and it's not even a debate. You can't even say that the ACC will remain as a power conference, because when you look at it, the way that the media rights deal is structured, all of the deals throughout college sports, the way that it is set up, I believe that the TV networks and stuff, they really want there to only be 3 for the time being. That being the SEC, the Big Ten, and the Big 12. The ACC doesn't have a chance to survive as a power conference, and I'll tell you why. Just the fact that your teams are trying that hard, they're suing you to get out of your conference, they're burning that bridge. They don't want to come back, and there is no team that you're going to add relevance to the ACC to make it remain a power conference. It's not going to happen. The ACC is doomed, and I have 100% confidence saying that out loud. The ACC, if it survives through this, will not be a power conference, period. Because all of its great teams they're trying to get out. And once Clemson and Florida State announce they leave, let's go down the hypothetical road that Florida State joins the Big Ten and Clemson joins the Big 12. As soon as Florida State joins the Big Ten, maybe they add Notre Dame. Maybe they do. They get them. That's their big fish. That's the one team that they care about adding to their conference. And if they can bring Florida State, I believe that they will be just fine doing that, and it would be a good move for them. But once Clemson joins the Big 12, then I believe that the rest of the top ACC schools will join Clemson in joining the Big 12. And let me say this, as a Big 12 fan, we are all welcoming of any team that makes this conference stronger and better and solidifies itself as a power conference. The Big 12 has a lot of teams that really could compete for a national championship in the college football playoff. Any one of our teams really could compete for a playoff spot or for a national championship any given year. You never know how the Big 12 is going to play out. When you look at the Big 10, you know that either Michigan or Ohio State is going to represent them in the college football playoff. And the crazy thing is that there are teams like Nebraska who haven't done jack for the most part, are saying that the Big Ten could get 4 out of the 12 members of the playoff. The Big Ten doesn't have that much depth. They're not as deep as the Big 12. The Big 12, realistically, If it wasn't for having to play conference games and beating up on each other and giving other great teams losses in great close games, almost always is a Big 12 game a very close game. More than half of the time, I believe the stat was like 60-some% of Big 12 games came down to one score. I mean, that's crazy. That's great parity for the Big 12. The Big 12 could have a contender from anywhere in the conference. And if it wasn't for them having to play each other, then the Big 12 really could have 4 teams that make the college football playoff. And I know it sounds crazy because they don't see the Big 12 as being as great as it is, but they need to be paying attention here. The Big 12 is one of the best conferences in the nation because of its depth. Our top team to our bottom team are so strong that any one of our teams could potentially compete for a national championship any given year. And it's not out of the question. It's not crazy for me to sit here and say that. We've had several teams that come out of nowhere and compete for a national championship or a conference championship for that matter. I mean, you never know when the season begins. You can't accurately predict the outcome of the season. You can't tell who's going to make the conference championship. But you do your best to try, and the Big 12 is so great and so strong that you never really know what teams are going to compete. And any team has the capability of competing for a Big 12 championship. And the lack of depth between the Big Ten and the SEC is what is going to help the Big 12 secure their place as a power conference moving forward. Because when you look at the SEC, almost every year it's going to be Georgia or Alabama making the conference championship, or both. You never know. But I'll say that in the Big 12, every single team can compete any given year. And that alone, the depth that the Big 12 has, is what will help secure their survival through the future. And who knows, maybe in 10 years they decide that 3 conferences is too many. Maybe they go to Power 2 conference. Man, I honestly believe that the Big 12 would end up being one of those 2. It's not crazy to think about. It's not out of the question. If you listen to Brett Yormark and the things he talks about, the things he says, what he believes for the conference, the future of it, he believes that the Big 12 will end up surpassing the Big 10 and the SEC. And as Big 12 fans, I believe he has the ability to make it happen. He really does. Because when you look at what the Big 12 is doing, as I've said before, and I will say again and again, the Big 12 is not looking to add bottom feeder teams that are just more members. No, the Big 12 is looking to add teams that are the best that they can possibly add. So I believe that even if Florida State does become an AAU school and gets into the Big 10, we will be just fine. The Big 12 will be just fine because they will add so many other great teams, even if they go to 24 teams, which I think would be the best move for the conference. I think that would help solidify themselves as a power conference moving forward because of the teams that it would add. And that includes Washington State and Oregon State, Clemson, Miami, Virginia Tech. I think that we will get one, if not both of those, if they are available. because I don't think the SEC will expand. I think the SEC is comfortable just coasting along to see what everyone else does. But by that time, it will be too late, because all of these great teams, all of the best teams that are available right now and that are trying to leave the ACC, they're all going to be taken up by the Big 12. Even if it takes until the end of this year to announce even one or two schools coming to the Big 12, if the Big 12 announces that Washington State and Oregon State join the Big 12, or if Clemson joins the Big 12, I believe that the rest of the ACC teams that the Big 12 wants will follow them along to the Big 12. The Big 12 is setting itself up in the best position that it can possibly be in, and it is a wonderful, wonderful thing. The Big 12 is in an absolutely wonderful, wonderful place right now because of the possibilities of the expansion that it could add. The Big 12 is not looking to just add teams to add numbers to the conference. They want to add the best schools in the entire nation that are available. And they will do everything that they possibly can to add these great schools, even from the ACC. And the ACC, honestly, mark my words, I believe that the ACC has no chance of remaining a power conference moving forward. And when we're talking about expansion, the Big 12 is also exploring the possibility of maybe adding a school or two for basketball only. If they were to do that, I believe they would target North Carolina and Duke. Maybe, I believe that they won't get in as football, as a member of the football conference, but I believe that if the Big 12 has the opportunity to add Duke and North Carolina for basketball only, I believe that it would work out wonderfully for them. Because, again, as I've said before, and I will repeat again and again, having Duke and North Carolina in the Big 12 just for basketball, the possibilities here are awesome. Because really think about it, and think about the rivalry games that we could instill in the Big 12 with them and possibly KU. I would love to see a rivalry between the three of the best blue bloods in basketball. That would be exciting as Big 12 games. If that's a conference game, I'm watching that every single time. Because at the end of the day, I'm a Big 12 fan and I want what's best for the Big 12. And everything that is going on right now gives me the hope and the belief that the Big 12 will survive no matter what the future and what the structure of the NCAA looks like. In 5 to 10 years, the Big 12 will solidify itself as the best conference in the nation. And they will solidify themselves again and establish themselves as they have been as the best conference in basketball alone. If the Big 12 adds North Carolina and Duke for basketball only, if it happened, you never know what's really going to happen, but we're talking hypotheticals here. If the Big 12 was to add North Carolina and Duke for basketball only, it would absolutely prove that there is no conference better than the Big 12. It is absolutely not out of the question. It's not crazy to think about. The potential that the Big 12 has is very, very exciting. And it's not just about football, which is mostly what conference realignment is really about. It's not just about football, because if the Big 12 can add teams for basketball only, they should at least explore it, especially if those teams include Duke and North Carolina. I believe that Brett Yormark is going to do everything that he possibly can to ensure the survival of the Big 12 moving forward. It is what he has repeatedly said that he is going to do. He is not going to let the Big 12 fade into mediocrity. He is not going to let the Big 12 die. He has consumed the Pac-12. He is about to consume the ACC. The Big 12 is setting itself up to be the best conference in the nation, just like Brett Yormark has repeatedly told us that he is trying to do. He is not trying to keep pace with the Big Ten and the SEC. He is trying to surpass them. He wants to be undoubtedly the best conference in the entire nation. And as Big 12 fans, we love having a commissioner that is so dedicated to our conference, who is willing to do everything that he possibly can to make sure that the Big 12 is a powerhouse conference for years and years to come, no matter what the structure of the NCAA looks like. Brett Yormark is the absolute right man for the job to have saved the Big 12. Yes, a few years ago, it seemed like the Big 12 could be in serious trouble. Then Brett Yormark comes in, and not only did he reverse some of the damage that had been done, he consumed the Pac-12 through BYU, Utah, Arizona State, and Colorado. He brings those teams in that, again, undoubtedly make this conference even stronger than it already was. And also having the attention, the national attention that Deion Sanders brings with Colorado, we are okay with that. We want the attention. We want people to pay attention to the Big 12. And Deion Sanders is a great coach to do that for our conference. I believe that Deion Sanders could potentially have a lot of success in the Big 12 leading Colorado. It's not out of the question. They have a great team. They have great talent. They have a great program in history. I believe Deion Sanders could help Colorado be a powerhouse team in the Big 12, and not just in the Big 12, in the college football playoff. There are a lot of teams in the Big 12 that could compete for a national championship. And yes, some of those were Pac-12 schools. And we welcome that extra competition. We love having them because of how much stronger the Big 12 is with those teams. And once they added those teams to the Big 12, it showed the teams from the ACC and the rest of the Pac-2 that are left, it showed them that this is a viable home if you want to survive being in a power conference for the future. The Big 12 will remain a power conference for the future moving forward. That's just the signs that we have been given. What Brett Yormark has said repeatedly, the information that we have into what schools they're targeting and trying to get, even if we don't get Florida State, the Big 12 will be okay. It will solidify itself as the best conference in the nation in the future. And I honestly believe that. It's not crazy to say. It's not out of the question, Because if you take the evidence of what the Big 12 was, where it was before Brett Yormark joined as the commissioner, it's just crazy to think of the progress where we are right now from that point. The Big 12 is headed in an amazing direction. And if you're not paying attention to what could happen here, it could hit you like a freight train. It could blindside you. But we as Big 12 fans see what's happening, and we are all for it, and we are all supportive of Brett Yormark and everything he is doing to make the Big 12 the best conference in the entire nation. All right, I'm done ranting about the Big 12 for now and the possibilities that we could possibly see. I mean, everything that could happen is very, very exciting. We don't know how it will actually turn out, but we know that the potential for the Big 12 is astronomical. With that being said, we're going to cut to Parker, and he's going to give us our Kansas Athlete Spotlight presented by Arrowhead Nutrition. Stop by there, check out all of their wonderful nutritional shakes and energy teas. Make sure to make it a part of your morning routine the way that it is mine. Parker's got a lot of great information coming. Cannot wait to hear his thoughts on what's going on in the world of sports and athletes in Kansas. Without further ado, Parker, take it away, bud.
What's going on, y'all? Parker here, back with Tree City. Glad to be back here again talking sports with you guys. Here to bring you your Arrowhead Spotlights of the week, presented by Arrowhead Nutrition. Just want to again say a big thanks to Jared and the guys over at Arrowhead Nutrition. They really take care of us and make sure we have what we need, and they really have been a great support system for Tree City sports, and can't say thank you enough to Jared. So getting right into our first athlete spotlight of the week for Arrowhead Nutrition, we have Nyjah Kennedy out of Stanford University, who will be transferring into the Big 12 this year to play softball. Nyjah won Player of the Year last year in NCAA softball and took home a pretty large check of NIL to transfer to Texas Tech from Stanford. So Stanford has had some pretty bad luck with their star players leaving lately. I feel bad for the Cardinal. They keep producing really good talent out there in California, and players keep leaving for big bucks. Braden Montgomery left for Texas A&M this year from Stanford and got picked in the top 10 picks. So Nyjah, I'm sure, is looking to have a great season this year for Texas Tech, especially playing with a lot of good Big 12 talent in softball. Personally, I wish the Cats would put together a softball team and compete, but, can't have everything. But, Nyjah really played her butt off this year, really showed what she can do, and Texas Tech decided to take an opportunity on her and spend the large bucks. So, just want to say congratulations to Nyjah. Going from Topeka High, kind of a highly populated area in the capital of Kansas, and making it to Stanford and now Texas Tech as what looks like the best softball player in the nation is so cool to see coming out of Kansas. So, yeah, just wanted to recognize Nyjah for her accomplishments, and hopefully the Texas Tech Red Raiders have a good season with her pitching for them. So let's get right into our next athlete. So our next athlete spotlight of the week is another woman from Kansas. We have Melanie Chris John out of Central Heights. She's in the class of 2025 for basketball, and Melanie really has balled out this season. She really has proved that, Central Heights, even though it may not be as well known of a school in Kansas, still produces a heck of a lot of talent. As you've seen, we've had a lot of spotlights from Central Heights on here. But so Melanie's stats, she has played insane this past season. She had a field goal percentage of 50%. So if that tells you anything, her field goal percentage was a 33% in her last game that she played. But yeah, Melanie had a really good season up at Central Heights, and we just wanted to recognize her for her accomplishments here. She is really one of the best athletes at Central Heights High, and we just wanted to recognize you for your accomplishments, Melanie. So thanks for letting us have you on here, and let's get right into our next Spotlight Athlete of the Week. Our next Athlete of the Week comes out of Central Heights again. We have Araceli Crump. Araceli has helped the Central Heights team to a 15-2-1 record in 2022. I can't see a lot of her stats here on Max Preps. The internet, the website's being kind of finicky a little bit, but we just wanted to go ahead and shout her out anyways. She really has put together a couple of great seasons for Central Heights. She has really proved to the Central Heights coaching staff that, she deserves to be on the field whenever she wants. So hopefully her and the softball team can have another good season, and hopefully they can take home a state championship, because I'm sure Araceli being at the helm of that team will help them out in every way possible. And just want to say congratulations for being a Kansas Athlete Spotlight of the Week. And let's get right into our next athlete. Our next Athlete of the Week is again out of Central Heights. Like I said, they have a lot of talent coming out there, and we're going to keep recognizing it. So Macy Cubitt, who plays varsity basketball and softball, she was a class of 2026 sophomore, and Macy has put together a couple of great seasons in basketball and softball, and she still has 2 more years left at Central Heights, so I'm sure that her status is only going to skyrocket from here. Colleges are going to be looking at her, making sure they have their eye on her, and I'm sure she'll have a great season again. We just, again, wanted to recognize a couple of these Central Heights athletes on here. We don't have a whole ton of stats on them, but we wanted to get their names out there to coaches and get them recognized if we can. So again, Macy Cubitt out of Central Heights, great athlete, great couple of seasons so far, and hopefully she can keep up the success with Central Heights. So let's get right into our next athlete. So our next Spotlight of the Week is actually a coach that just got hired to coach at Ottawa University. Ottawa University's head football coach Nick Davis is pleased to announce that Kyle Kramer has been named the special teams coordinator and will coach the Ottawa University defensive line. Coach was quoted saying, "We are excited to welcome Kyle back to the great state of Kansas, and he will take our special teams to the next level." Kramer comes to Ottawa University after spending the 2023 season as the special teams coordinator and tight ends coach at the University of Arkansas Pine Bluff. Before his time at UAPB, Kramer was the special teams senior analysis for 2 seasons at the University of Louisiana Monroe. Both of those schools are Division I, Monroe being in the FBS and Pine Bluff being in the FCS. So if you want to go ahead and use University of Louisiana Monroe on the new NCAA game, go right ahead, you can. But he started his college coaching career at Mid-America Nazarene University in Olathe, where he spent 6 years as a member of the Pioneers coaching staff. So he has a lot of good knowledge from every level of the game, Division I all the way down to NAIA. So I'm sure these Ottawa Braves coaches are excited to have him a part of the program. Kramer was a tight end at the University of Oklahoma and signed a free agent deal with the New Orleans Saints in 1995. Following his NFL playing career, he spent more than 2 decades in sports performance and marketing industries. He assisted NFL Pro Bowl and NFL alumni in coaching underprivileged youth in Hawaii and conducted football clinics and camps for many years in the Kansas City area. So this guy really knows what it means to the community to have sports in kids' lives and make an impact on these children in Kansas and even Hawaii all the way across the country. So it's really cool to see that guy that's been a part of the NFL coming back to the NAIA level and helping out a team that needs it. And what a cool story from Coach Kramer. We just want to recognize him here on Tree City. I know Calvin's a big Ottawa guy. He loves the Braves, but not being biased here, this is a great hire for the Braves, and I'm sure it'll help out their success here in the next coming season this fall, and hopefully they can go ahead and take home an NAIA conference championship. So, let's get right into the next Spotlight of the Week. Our next Spotlight of the Week is a linebacker at Ottawa University, Brandon Doles. In 2023, as a sophomore, Brandon backed up all KCAC performer A.J. Hemphill at linebacker. He finished the season with 4 tackles and was a CSC academic all-district selection and was a KCAC Daktronics Scholar athlete. So this kid gets it done in the classroom, even though he wasn't seeing the field as much. He really showed out for his team in the classroom, and for me, that's really cool to see. Even not being on the field as much, he still put his head down in his studies and made sure to get his work done. So he finished his freshman season with 7 tackles, and then in high school he earned 3 letters in football, 4 in wrestling and baseball at Lewisburg High School. He was a 3-time state qualifier in wrestling and placed in the top 8 twice. Those was the first team all-league selection at linebacker, earned honorable mention all-state honors at linebacker, and was a second team all-league selection as an outfielder, and earned honorable mention all-state honors as a pitcher and infielder. So this dude's an all-sport athlete coming out of high school. Decided to set his sights on football, which is cool, awesome. That's great to see guys that play multiple sports. Sad to see that he's not playing multiple at Ottawa, but it's honestly awesome to know that a stud baseball player ended up playing football in college. So cool to see, cool to cover. You know, we love covering these multi-sport athletes. I know personally I love it. His brother, Desmond Doles, was a member of the OU football team as well. So it's a family affair for the Doles family at Ottawa University, and we just wanted to go ahead and recognize Brandon for his accomplishments so far. Let's get right into the next athlete. Next, we have defensive back out of Ottawa University, Elijah Hand-Blewett. Hand-Blewett finished the season with 17 tackles, 9 solo, 8 assisted, 1 tackle for loss, 5 pass breakups, and 1 recovered fumble. So this guy's making an impact on the field already. At Neosho County Community College, Hand-Blewett was a member of the wrestling team from 2021 to 2022. He earned letters in football, wrestling, and track out of Olathe West High School. So this is a dude that decided to play wrestling out of high school and now is balling out at the NAIA level for football. So that's really cool to see. Again, another multi-sport athlete going to Ottawa University. They love their multi-sport athletes, and I see why, because these guys know how to dedicate themselves to their sports, their craft, and really dig in and find a place to play. So Ottawa has given them that opportunity, and hopefully these guys can ball out this fall and keep playing well. So let's get into our next Ottawa University football player, our next spotlight, and yeah, let's get right into it. Next, we have D lineman at Ottawa University, Christian Coggs. Coggs earned honorable mention all KCAC honors this junior season. He finished the season with 39 tackles and 2 for a loss. In 2022, as a sophomore, he had 23 tackles, 13 solo, 10 assisted, 5.5 tackles for loss, 1.5 sacks, and a fumble recovery. And the freshman season, he ended with 8 tackles, and he had 1 tackle for loss, 1 sack, and 1 forced fumble. In high school, Coggs lettered in football at Shawnee Mission West High School. I've actually played baseball with a couple of guys from Shawnee Mission West. They have a lot of good athletes coming out of there, and Christian is no exception to that. So, and he's the son of Christian Casares and Christopher Kirby, and he's a sports studies major. So Christian knows how to put his head down in the classroom as well and go to work, as well as make an impact on the field, and that he has done. So congratulations, Christian. We just want to recognize you here on Tree City Sports for your accomplishments, and hopefully you have a great fall senior season, and hope the Ottawa Braves take home a KCAC conference championship. So let's get right into the next athlete spotlight. Next, we have Ottawa University running back Lawrence Hudson. In 2023, as a junior, he had 2 carries and played on the Braves special teams, so he was a very vital member of that special teams unit. Hudson played on the JV team as a sophomore, and on the as a freshman, he did the same. In 2020, he was a redshirt, and in high school, Hudson earned letters in football and track at Ruskin High School. He was a 2-time offense-defense All-American Bowl invitee. On the track, Hudson was a 2-time all-conference performer as well, and he is the son of Danny and Elizabeth Hudson, and he's a PE major. So Lawrence has put his head down, gone to work, and I'm sure he's looking to get on the field more and produce more for his team this fall, and again help win a KCAC championship. So congratulations, Lawrence, and let's get into the next athlete. Next is wide receiver Hagan Johnson. As a freshman, he was a part of the junior varsity team, but in high school, he earned letters in football, wrestling, and track at Wamego High School. He helped Wamego to a 4A state championship, and Johnson was a first-team All-State, All-District, and All-League selection at receiver. So a lot of accomplishments in high school in Wamego, just down the road from me. He earned first-team All-State, All-District, and All-League honors as a returner, and he received the Wichita Eagle Receiver Award. So congratulations, Hagan. Hopefully you have a great season this fall, and let's get right into the next athlete. Next, we have the Ottawa University tight end, Zane Nowak. Zane Nowak. As a sophomore, he played on the OU special teams, and same as a freshman. In high school, he lettered in football, baseball, wrestling at Baldwin High School in Baldwin City, Kansas. He qualified for the Kansas State Wrestling Tournament, finishing in the top 12 in the 195-pound weight class. Nowak was an honorable mention All-League selection and was named first-team academic All-State. So this kid's a grinder in the classroom as well, and he loves sports and videos games, and his close friends call him Ginger because of his red hair. So Zane, congratulations being a part of the Kansas Athlete Spotlights of the Week here on Tree City, and let's get right into the next spotlight. Our last Ottawa University football player for today is Preston Greenwood, D lineman out of Ottawa. He finished his first season as a Brave with 32 tackles, 9 solo, 23 assisted, 3.5 tackles for loss, and 1.5 sacks. At Independence Community College, Last Chance U. If you guys tune in to the Netflix series they had about Independence, that was a pretty good watch, and if you haven't, go ahead and check it out. They have two seasons on the Independence Pirates, and Preston Greenwood was a part of the Independence Community College Pirates in 2021. He played in 10 games and had 2 tackles. He lettered in football at Lawrence High, and has really been looking for an opportunity to make an impact at Ottawa, and I'm sure he will this fall. Again, like I said multiple times, going for a KCAC championship is the focus of the Braves this season, adding a lot of potential at the coaching realm and a lot of good players returning, a lot of good athletes coming back to play this season, and I'm looking forward to see how they do this fall. So again, thanks to all the Ottawa University football players for letting us have you on here at Tree City. We love talking about you guys, especially with Calvin living in Ottawa. It's really close to home for him, I know for sure. And let's get right into the next spotlight. Our last athlete today, certainly not least, we have Drew Becker out of Rock Creek High School. Drew's a football and baseball player for Rock Creek, who I've actually had the joy of playing with. We started playing travel ball together when we were 9 on the Manhattan Aggies, all the way up until we were about 13, 14. His late father, Matt Becker, my coach, was a great guy, great mentor for me. He still is my hero to this day, and I look up to him no matter what. He had the baseball knowledge of the baseball gods. He knew everything about the game, everything about the rules. Through the whole book, he probably knew the game better than the umpires out there calling the game. So just want to say thank you, Matt, for everything you did for me. And let's get right into Drew and his career at Rock Creek. So Drew has played football at Rock Creek High and baseball since he was a freshman. He's really made an impact at the Rock Creek High. He has helped them win state in baseball twice. I'm not sure if he was on the first state championship team or not, but I know he was on this year because they took home the 4A state title this year as well. Drew was a major part of that, being behind the plate, calling all the pitches. Him and Coach Sieben make a really good combo behind the plate and in the dugout. I know Drew makes sure to keep any pitcher that he has up there under control and in control of the game at all times. Drew is a left-handed hitter, and he hits nukes, man. That kid breaks. So it doesn't surprise me that yesterday Cali Community College, probably one of the best programs at the JUCO level in Kansas, decided to go ahead and sign him. Me and my dad actually know Coach Camion, one of the assistant coaches at Cali, and I know he's super excited to have Drew aboard. Drew will play his senior seasons this year at Rock Creek in football and baseball, but besides that, Drew is just an all-around good guy. He puts his head down and goes to work in the weight room, in the classroom as well, and it really was some of the best times ever playing with Drew on the Aggies. That kid brought the energy to the field like nobody else I can remember, and I really am glad to have played with him at some point during my career, and especially being coached by his dad. That really made an impact on my baseball career and is probably why I am where I am today. So I just want to say thank you to the Becker family overall for everything they've done for me in my baseball career. I know Drew means a lot to me. Throughout my baseball playing career, I've always kept him in the back of my mind, thinking about him and his dad. They really mean a lot to me, like I said, and Drew is nothing short of a stud. So we just want to recognize Drew here on Tree City Sports for being such a grinder, committing to Cali Community College to play baseball in the 2025 season, and just want to say thanks, Drew, for letting us have you on. You really have, again, meant a lot to me and my family, and just want to say thank you. So that's it for your Kansas Athlete Spotlights of the week. It was great to talk here on Tree City about our Kansas athletes again, and I'm looking forward to the next time I'm on here. So go ahead, hit that like and subscribe. It means the world to me and Calvin, your guys' support, and we're going to keep pumping out these videos for you guys, keep giving you good content, and yeah, till next time, go Cats, baby.
Thank you so much for that, Parker. We are so grateful to have you join the show once again. It is always a treat to hear your thoughts on what's going on in the sports world. And the things that you bring are absolutely fantastic. Our Kansas Athlete Spotlight means so much to us, and that we are able to bring our spotlight to the wonderful athletes in the state of Kansas. If you have any nominations for who we should put in our Kansas Athlete Spotlight presented by Arrowhead Nutrition, let us know. Reach out to us. Tell us. We'll do our best to feature any and all wonderful athletes from the state of Kansas. This has been an incredibly exciting episode, and I thank you guys so much for joining us today. Do not forget to like and subscribe to all of our social pages. Let us know what you think. Tell us what you want to see covered, and any other wonderful athletes that we could put in our Kansas Athlete Spotlight. With that being said, I want to give a shout out to AM Creations in Ottawa, Kansas. Check them out for all of your custom hat, cup, shirt needs, because they make great custom products. Check them out on all of their social pages. Search AM Creations. And our friend Royal's mom, Rita, RJN Photography. Look them up on their Facebook page and book them for all of your photography needs. And our buddy Drew at DNN Detailing. It's the time of the year to take your classic cars to car shows, get them cleaned up, detailed, nice and show ready. When you want to get it looking nice, hit up my buddy Drew at DNN Detailing. And last but absolutely not least, I want to give a shout out to Arrowhead Nutrition, especially for sponsoring our Kansas Athlete Spotlight. All of their products are absolutely incredible. Do not forget to stop by there. Tell them you heard it on Tree City Sports and that we sent you, because they are wonderful. You want to make sure that Arrowhead Nutrition is a part of your morning routine the way that it is mine. And I guess until next time, y'all take care now.